would I have enough rent money to pay my lease until the end of the year? And the answer was yes. I saw that I had enough income coming down the pipeline that I could at least fulfill my 1 year lease.
What's up, everybody? Today, I have a really special guest. Her name is Deanna Seiple. She is an amazing entrepreneur and primarily wedding photographer, and also family portraits and baby sessions, newborn sessions. But she has a really fun business, and I couldn't wait to share with you guys. So, Deanna, could you share with us a little bit about yourself and how did you get started in this whole photography thing?
Yeah, I would love to. I'm primarily a wedding photographer, and then I also do family portraits, newborn photography. I've been a professional photographer for about 20 years now, and I love it.
So how did you get started in the business 20 years ago?
Yeah, so actually, my father did photography. He didn't take it to the level that I did. He always kept a day job. But he actually did photography, and I would work alongside him. And then as he got older, wedding photography specifically, while it's great fun, you're on your feet all day long. He was having like some hip issues. And magically, when he paid off the mortgage on his house, he's like, maybe I don't need to work anymore. And that was about the time people had started approaching me directly to photograph their weddings, because I always handled the social media aspect of it. And I kind of spoke to him about it. And he said, I give you my blessing. This is what I always envisioned for you. It's a really lovely career to have for someone who has a family. I'm able to be there for my kids when they get on the bus, get off the bus. He encouraged it. And I basically just took it and treated it like a full-time job. And it's just grown and grown and grown from something I did part-time with my father into a full-time studio, employs many other photographers. So it's been amazing.
So when you first took over the business, you didn't have a brick and mortar at the time. You were just working on the side. So how did you get enough clients and to be able to kind of afford leasing a space?
Yeah, so I always in the back of my mind thought having a space would be a really great thing. Just taking a few steps back for anybody who's listening to this podcast, if you're a little bit younger, lots of business is conducted online via Zoom, so on and so forth. However, when I started wedding photography, people almost always met in person with their photographer. It was very unusual not to set appointments and go sit down at a place to meet. When my father did it, they would come over to the kitchen and sit down at the kitchen table and chat, which was lovely. It was lovely for him. But I always knew that I wanted something more, something bigger, something that I could build up and one day potentially pass down to my children. So I always had my eye on it. I was always looking for something and envisioned potentially having a space when my oldest went off to kindergarten because I'd have more time. And I found the building that I'm in now, and I brought my cute little 2-year-old with me as we checked out the space. And it was just a touch out of my price range. I spoke, I'm married. I have a very supportive husband. I couldn't have done it without his support. And it was just a touch more than what I wanted to spend. And I think the landlord fell in love with my little 2-year-old. She stole his heart. So when I told him I love the space, but really I was at this budget, he was willing to work with me. And it was awesome. It kind of got my foot in the door. And I feel like it did separate me from other photographers. I'm not sure if your audience is all over the country, but in this part of New Jersey, it is a very saturated market. You could pick up a rock and throw it and hit the head of somebody who says they're a photographer. So having a storefront, having an actual brick and mortar store on Main Street. I'm on Main Street in Clinton. I feel it really did give me that extra little boost. And then as time got on, the business grew. I've always stayed in the same building, but upgrade my space, make it bigger. But yeah, honestly, it was kind of just reaching a touch further than what I was at and not being scared to ask a landlord to work with me on pricing.
Wow, you're a brave one.
Yeah.
I think like as a small business owner, getting a space is something, it's almost like a certificate, like you got to get your space, you got to have employees working with you, you got to build a business to serve your local community. Yes, you don't need a location to do just photography. But if you do, people know that you're not going nowhere. I'm here. If you're
Right.
not
I
happy,
tell people, you know
yeah,
how to find me.
yeah, you have my address. I'm here, for, 6, 7 days a week, and I'm always here. So,
Yeah.
nothing's gonna go wrong. I'm there with you. So I think like you're so right on the having a location really differentiate, like really put you in a different category. Like, yeah, I'm legit. Like I invested in a location with my employees. So this is not a part-time gig. This is all I do every day. 9 in the morning, 9 to 9 at night. So when you got your space, what is your clients like? How did you get enough money to kind of pay for rent? Maybe have a helper with you. How did you get these clients to sign up?
So I'm always very, very conservative in my spending for my business. I've always tried to let the business pay for itself. That being said, very, very blessed, tremendous husband who supports me. And we spoke about it that in the beginning, every small business, you're not going to make a ton of money. When I was doing the weddings and my first couple years out, doing it completely under, my own name, not, with my father's studio anymore. The business was growing and I could see that I had enough clients and I literally just did the math. Okay, what if I never booked another wedding for the rest of my life? Would I have enough rent money to pay my lease until the end of the year? And the answer was yes. I saw that I had enough income coming down the pipeline that I could at least fulfill my 1 year lease. And that's the way that I looked at it, not necessarily the way everybody should look at it, but I never wanted the business to have to then dip into the personal funds because that would be difficult. So just very, very conservative. I guess maybe reaching for the stars, but not necessarily so crazy that it bankrupted me and I was only making money to pay for my rent.
What has been the fastest growth method for you that you experienced in terms of like you took your business from I would say employee number one and all the way until now, and you've grown the business tremendously.
So the biggest thing for me is referrals, and not just referrals from the bride, talking to the venues, having a good relationship with the venues. My business is 95% driven by referrals, which is amazing because when people know you and they like you, they're excited to share your name. Everybody likes knowing the best guy. Like everyone's like, I got a guy, I got a guy. And you want to be that guy. So it's amazing. But on the flip side of the coin, you can't have an off day. We spoke a little bit, earlier about how you always have to be on, and that's double so in this day and age when one bad review online can kill a business. And I take it very, very seriously. I'm so blessed that people trust me with something so important that I go out of my way to make sure everything is perfect. So referrals are everything. And I take it very, very seriously, making sure clients are happy, not even on the day of their wedding or, the day of their portrait session. Weddings are probably the most labor intensive just because there's a before, there's an on the day, and there's an after day. But my clients have my cell phone. They text me at night. They'll call me in the morning after their wedding. They'll ask my advice on wedding albums. And then, it's amazing. They're like, oh my gosh, we're pregnant. My baby's going to be born in a few months. Can we set up sessions? So it is so, so very important, but you have to take it seriously. You have to always be available to your clients. And it's just kind of having that mindset where I don't work a 9 to 5, but I'm always working. So it's one of those things when I mentioned being able to be there to get my kids off the bus. I can be there for my family all the time, but I'm there with my family all the time with my phone on me, just in case somebody needs help.
What is the time that you were close financially wise? Like, that season wasn't doing well, things are just not working out. Do you experience anything like that?
Yeah, so I'll talk about the big thing that COVID, everybody probably talks about
Right?
COVID. But in my industry, there's always drips and drabs, right? Um, Wedding season in New Jersey it starts gearing up in March and then it ends just after Thanksgiving, a couple of weeks into December, maybe. So December, January, February, or it's to quote Game of Thrones, winter is coming. And it's hard. It's very, very hard. There's no income at all. But then things start picking up. People get engaged over the holidays and they call up and start booking weddings. But some years, some years that dry spell extends just a little bit further.
Well, that's amazing how transparent you are. I think that's the reason why you had a blowout year in 2021, a year later, right? How many weddings did you shoot in 2021?
2021, it killed me. So in a typical year, I'll do 65 to 75 weddings. 99, I had 99 weddings. Really wanted to get to
Wow.
100. I actually, special shout out to my dad. We had a little bet. He was convinced I was going to get to 100. Yeah, so just one wedding short of 100. So it was a record breaking year. I was a little bit nervous that then there would be a drop off in 2022, just like 2021 was amazing and then it was going to drop off. But we typically every year our business increases by like 5 to 10% and still on track to do that. So super happy about it.
Amazing. So how did you facilitate a team quickly? Like you assemble a team really, really quickly to help you shoot 99 wedding.
I have the photographers who work with me. They're photographers who have worked with me for many, many years. I'm very selective about who I'll let represent our name because I don't personally photograph all the weddings myself. I've taken like a little bit of a role where I'm more, managing the company, helping the clients, and I have fantastic photographers who go out on site. And I'm not a fool. I know that on the day of the wedding, whoever I send out is Cherryville photography to my clients. So it's not lost on me. My photographers who work with me, I try to pay them really well. I treat them really well because without them, I literally wouldn't have a business. So sorry about the change in appearance, technology.
See, so as we're coming to the end of the interview, what would be your top three advice that you can give other entrepreneurs, business owners out there to help grow their business?
In regards to growing your business, just don't be afraid to talk about the fact that you have a business because if you don't talk about it, it's the most important thing in your world, but everybody else is busy. So don't be afraid to let people know what you do. And with social media, it's so easy. Every single post doesn't have to be a sales pitch, but it's easy. It's easy to let people know what you do. And then never lose sight of the fact that your clients are the whole reason you have a business. Without your clients, you don't have a business. So while you may be your own boss, you actually have hundreds of other bosses, all of your clients, and just really, really, really valuing that, really internalizing the fact that your clients are why you're feeding your family. And when you recognize that, it gives you a level of appreciation. And I think people like that. Not that they need to know I'm giving you all this stuff, but people like to know they're valued. And then finally, being confident in your worth. What you may charge can change as your business grows, as you move into different things, but just having that confidence, knowing, truly knowing if it's not worth your time, it's not a business, it's a hobby.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think a lot of time as I would say business owners starting out, it's like something about pricing. We always price ourselves so below the value because it's a confident issue. It's not the pricing. It's like you don't believe your worth. right?
Yeah.
So one more question though, like what do you say when people tell you like, oh, that's too much?
I say, okay, I'm so sorry. If something ever changes, let me know. And you'd actually be surprised. And I'm not offended. I, I'm a small business owner. I'm not a millionaire. Sometimes I want to do business with a company and it's just more money than I'm willing to spend, more money than I can spend. So I'm never offended. And I actually, when clients let me know, like, you know what, we just had to go with somebody else because it was more in their budget. I'm never offended by it. I'm like, no problem. I totally understand. But I've been in this industry a tremendous amount of time. So while I would have loved to have photographed your wedding, and I've actually had people who told me I was too expensive, book with somebody else, and then end up canceling with them and coming back to me just saying, you know what, it was like a little bit more than we wanted, but working with you was just so much more amazing that we're comfortable with it. Like we'd rather have a great experience than maybe spend less money and have a bad experience.
Thank you so much, Dina, for coming on the show today and share your 20 years of wisdom and success and how to overcome failures and build such a strong team and heading into another successful season. So congratulations on
Yes.
that as well. So I'm very, very happy to see you're succeeding so well and you creating more jobs. Hey, thank you, Dina. It was a great time having with you. And I'm sure our guests had a great time as well. See you next time. And thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you. Have a great day.